Good evening, welcome back to Leicester Fan TV. It's the Foxes Focus Show. We'll talk about all things Leicester. I've got Sam with me tonight. Simon's still got family things to do. So
Yeah.
I've got Sam tonight. Good evening, Sam.
Yeah, happy to be here, Cameo appearance for me, usually behind the camera.
You're normally do all the camera work, but you're with me tonight.
Yes.
Don't forget to follow us on all our socials down below. Leave a like throughout the video and leave your comments. There's a lot of things to discuss tonight, so leave your comments. We'll try and get for as many as possible. Good evening, Dawn. Hope you had a good night. It's hot everywhere, isn't it? It's absolutely roasting.
It is absolutely roasting.
It's roasting. So it's like hot like Leicester City at the moment because there's so much stuff going on. So the big news today is the fact that we have just signed a player called Harry Howell from Brighton and Hove Albion. He's an attacking midfielder and will be with us for the whole season. So what do you think about that? Because obviously we've signed Connor Chaplin and Cullen, who are also in that position, but Louis Page was also playing that position. So is that a clue that he might be leaving? Because if we've had to get another loan in for that position, surely that must mean a player might be leaving.
Yeah, I think it does open the possibility of someone like Louis Page leaving. Either that or Martin thinks he's not good enough. He's watched him and doesn't think that he's capable of doing it in League One. I think it is kind of a risk to just have Chaplin as your, week in, week out attacking mid, especially if he gets injured. A bit like we said with the new striker we signed, we're definitely going to need someone to back him up. But I'm happy that we're, loaning in these players that are from, Premier League clubs that they're going to come for the experience, and hopefully they should be good enough for League One.
Hopefully, I mean, we've been known to sign cheap players who are unknown players or loan players who have done well. I mean, we had James Justin last season on loan, and he was our star player by a mile. Yeah. So, and plus it's a long season. We play more games this season we did last season. More games in League One. We got more cup games as well. So we do need to bolster. But that's the concerning thing is we've replaced. If Louis Page is leaving, we've replaced him quite quickly, but we haven't replaced Ben Nelson, who went up for injured in the Jono game. That's concerning because surely I know we've been linked with Harry Souttar's brother. That we're like firm favourites to sign him, but if apparently he's not quick either. We need a pacey centre back who can chase the ball because Okoli or Fast can't do that really.
Yeah, obviously I think Ben Nelson getting injured is obviously not in Martin's plans at all for the whole season. He probably would have been one of the main starters going into the season. And like we've been saying just off camera for a minute, how much can you rely on someone like Okoli and Faze, who we know have been part of this, rotten formation in the club? Majority of the players have gone now, but can we trust Faze to put in the effort for Martin? I think we probably do need to get another centre back in. It's just, where do we find someone that's good enough for us? I suppose.
It just depends how much Top is willing to spend because there are plenty of centre backs out there who would be willing to play for us. But we've just signed a striker for just under $1 million with add-ons. Taking it over $1 million. That's not a huge amount of money. I mean, we've sold loads of players. We'll talk about probably why that might be in a bit. But two more positions. I mean, right now it's not urgent because it's the beginning of the season. We've got a striker and a centre back, but before the window ends, we definitely need another striker and a defender, as Dawn said here.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I do think we need another defender and another striker. I imagine we're not going to spend much money because we've not done it this window at all. We brought in some decent players. We've signed a little bit. We spent a few million so far, but we are bringing in quite a few loan prospects. So I don't know if the club are just going to, bite the time a little bit, wait it out, see if there's anyone available that will come on loan. Because I don't think they're really going to be digging into their pockets much more than 3 to 5 million for a player maximum.
No, and it is quite sad because we could really, really do well in this league. Everyone's predicting us to do well,
Mm.
but as Leicester fans, we know we predicted to do well last season. We ended up being one of the worst teams in the league,
Yeah.
so we just need a bit of we need a star player. We had James Justin last season, but it wasn't quite enough, and our defense was so poor. And well, as Michael says here, what Fass, I don't think he's an overall horrific defender, but his attitude is rubbish. And he
Yeah.
and same as Okoli, he's bad on the ball. Like the style of football that not Marty, that Russell wants to play, they're not good on their feet. And if they're getting pressed by two or three defenders, are they going to deal with one under pressure?
Yeah, I think just looking at the chat, I think Gordon put in there doing the polar opposite there, saying that Faiz is our best centre back, which I think on paper, if you have to look at it from where we signed him for European competition. You know, we didn't really sign him to be part of the relegation scraps and that. So the fact I'm surprised he's still here, to be honest with you. And I do you do have to kind of wonder if he is going to stay here. Do you play him just because he should? You know, he's an international player signed for Premier League football, but his issue is his attitude. And once he decides to not play, once he does decide to down tools and not play for the team, that then does become an issue. Which I don't think any manager should be there saying I can rely on Fives for the season.
It's quite confusing then because they sat down with Vestergaard and basically said you're leaving. They
Yeah,
did not want him part of the plans anymore. We'll terminate your contract.
yeah.
So if Faz is in that same boat as Vestergaard, like doesn't want to be here, why isn't the club doing
Mm.
that with him either? So do the club have plans? If he had plans with Wout Faz, surely he would have played in pre-season as well. So it's a bit confusing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the plan is to probably sell him and get someone. I think Vestergaard was probably a lost cause on way too high wages. Nothing
Yeah,
really stating that he's going to be able to. I mean, I can only imagine he probably would have been on 30 to 40 grand a week in the League One still. So
pretty much.
I think it was probably the best for him to go. And I don't know what Faiz is on. I imagine he's in and around the same. I assume he's on a little bit less than that. I assume we did when we signed him have some kind of clauses in his contract, but I don't know. I think the club would snap your hands off as soon as someone said, "Yeah, we take him." I'm surprised that Monaco didn't, really snap at him after he's had a pretty decent loan spell there last year.
Mhm.
So I don't know what his plans are for this year, but I personally, just after watching him, I know I'm sure a lot less fans would agree. I wouldn't really like to see him anywhere near the team,
No,
regardless of who we do and don't bring in, because I think he is just a bad egg.
he's a bad egg. And we played against Genoa, and 7 or 6 players who started that game were players from the last season.
Mm,
We're expecting basically a new team be
mm.
playing. We saw a lot of the old players, and if you think about it, the right wing was really impressive. You had Alves, you had Braybrook, you had the right Richardson. Was it Richardson as a right back? Um, who was playing as a right
I,
back?
th- I think it's the academy lad, isn't he? I think he got the number 2 shirt, hasn't he?
Yeah,
I forgot. I thought his name was some JJ. Was it not something in that caliber?
looked really good on that. We looked really good on that right side. Oh, yeah, we back, get back. We looked really good on that right side, but we had nothing on the left with Luke Thomas and Mavididi, who were both players from who've had 2 relegations with us. So
Yeah.
uh, we need. I don't know who. I mean, Skipper's been really good. He's one of the players which I think impressed me during pre-season. That's it, Jaden Joseph. That's it.
Yeah, that's the one.
Um, but we just don't. The club, I don't think the club has done a lot to try and get rid of the bad eggs, but we're delusional for thinking we get rid of all of them, can't we? Like we can't get rid of every single one of them, but I think they've got rid of the worst ones, especially like Winks. Winks was the worst one.
Yeah.
I think it's just fast left. That's I think for me is the one left bad egg left. I think we
Yeah.
can. Mavididi, he's so poor, isn't he? Like he's not offered anything in pre-season.
No, God knows what's wrong with Mavididi, but I don't think you could give him away. I don't think anyone's looking at him going, "We need to sign him."
What can Russell Martin do then to improve him? Because we all know that he has talent. We all know he can play really well, but where's that been?
I think some of it does come down to the way we do play football. I think we're obviously quite possession based in the style that we play. So having someone like Mavididi I know it worked under Enzo, and I don't know if it's just a confidence thing. So I struggle to see why Mavididi has dipped this much in form. Because last season, I mean, when he played with Enzo, he had a great season. Premier League, no one had a good season, and so you can't really judge anyone that season for playing bad.
Yeah.
And then last season, he was just beyond poor. He literally didn't offer anything. But this is probably where Watson steps in for him, and does that job a bit more on the left side. And I don't know, because we've seen quite a lot of Mavididi in pre-season. So again, it's one of those things. Like I think I said in the office, with Phil and Reedy, that Mavididi and Faiz, they must be doing something okay on the training pitch. They must look all right, because they do still get into the team a little bit more. But I think sometimes it's trying to beat a dead horse with players like Mavididi. It's like, will he ever
Yeah.
get as good as he was 2-3 seasons ago? Who knows? I don't think he's got it in him personally.
I mean, if you look at his career, that season we got promoted was probably one of his best seasons in his career. Before then,
Yeah,
it was a decent player. He had one really good season. Then he's looked
yeah,
average ever since. And as Dawn said, Mavididi is lazy. And Mavididi, is he lazy? Yes and no. Yes, because a lot of times you see him, he doesn't. If the ball's going past him, he kind of sprints a little bit, and then he just goes off. I've lost it, and he doesn't try back as much, which is why Luke Thomas suffers, because it's just Luke Thomas. He doesn't have that player to track back, to help him. But when I do see him, when he actually has the confidence, he does press the ball really well, and he does take players on, and he can run really quick. So it's an iffy one.
yeah. I think once he gets found out as a player within the game, he'll shut down, because I think he is a bit of a one-trick pony where he'll do a couple of step overs and try and cut inside the box. I think once players, mark him and stop him doing that once or twice, he does kind of go into a shell and give up a little bit. And I don't know, maybe it's just a confidence thing with him. Maybe scoring a few early goals in the season for him will do him some good.
Definitely. Someone's put a comment and saying, Chris Smith, are you guys going to discuss the 200 million sell proposal released by Citibank for the purchase of the club? Yes. Well, I mentioned a bit earlier about why the club might not be investing loads of money and signing new players. I mean, we've put a few million in for a few players, but a lot of them have been loans. We've been selling a lot of assets. Fataru's gone, Winks has gone. We're selling a lot of biggest players to get some money in. And it was mentioned a few weeks ago, probably a month ago, that Top was planning on selling the club. He offering the club out as for sale, but it's been released now. That's been a brochure that's been sent out to all investors with a market value of over 200 million. I think it's 222 million they valued Leicester City at, and that's including Seagrave, Beavergrave, women's team, our sister club Leuven, the land around the King Power Stadium, the King Power Stadium itself, all the assets. They said 224 million, 222 million, but they estimate 150 million they would actually realistically get based on our drop.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're having to basically go on Facebook Marketplace and say, "Here's our club, buy it," there's obviously not been many people interested, or it also is quite weird that the club hasn't also come out themselves and said we are selling the club.
Yeah, I think it doesn't surprise me, because I think Leicester are the least transparent club that I've seen in a long time. I think we do keep a lot of things in the shadows because they don't want to announce it to fans. So it doesn't surprise me that they're not open with what they're doing. 220 odd million, I think, is about right. If this is probably the worst time as an owner to try and sell something, when you're in the worst position possible the club's ever been. We've never been lower than League One before, so all assets are going to be really low. The women's team got relegated. I'm pretty sure the sister club is doing pretty poor as well.
Yeah, I think they either just survived or got relegated
Yeah.
themselves.
So it's not like everything's in flying form. I know they probably were looking at 500 to 600 million as a whole, as a club. But if you're a new owner trying to buy a club, why don't you just go and buy Norwich? Who's in a higher league already with decent foundations, and it will probably cost a tenth of that price. For me, I think 220 million. A lot of clubs. I think you need someone that will come and buy it for the history and go, we can get these back up. But I think a lot of owners, unless they're Saudi, are going to go, I could spend 20 million and sign a championship team. I could buy a championship club.
It's a bit like our history is we've won the Premier League, we've won the FA Cup in the last 15 years, no, last 10
Yeah.
years. So we have got a big name one of the most, we're the sixth most followed football club on social media. You know, we're not, and we have got a big global fan base, even though we're not as big as the top six, but we have got a good global fan base, and we've got the facilities to be a very good club. We've got the foundations to be, we've really got a phenomenal academy. That's why all these players are coming from. That's why Man City that signed a 15-year-old who played for them 21s. I don't know who, forgot his name, but he left.
Mm.
Um, so I think we are an attractive asset, as Cool Boy said. 200 million for a club that won the Premier League, FA Cup within the last 10 years with a top training ground is good. To be fair, I don't think 222 million is. I think just below that, again, 150 around that sort of price is a good deal. But with the potential to be a
Yeah.
massive club,
Yeah.
we've got. It's not like they have to build it from the ground zero.
Yeah.
It's like they've got, here's all the facilities, but what we don't know is how much debt is the club in behind closed doors. That's what we don't know. That's what might make it difficult.
Yeah, I think you've seen, like, say, owners like Ryan Reynolds and that buy Wrexham on the cheap and they bring them up. I think the thing that happens with a club like Leicester is we do have a lot of baggage. You know, we're not just cruising and new owners are coming to buy us. We're in a tricky position for a new owner to take over. It's one of those things where there's a lot of assets within the club. Like, say, it's got a sister club, a massive training ground, Champions League level training ground. Um, a women's team as well, and players that are on decent wages. It's a lot of things to cover when the income's just not there. We're going to make next to nothing in League One, so it is a lot to take on. Which is why I compare it to like someone like Norwich, who have just cruised in the Championship for 6 years, and they don't have any baggage with them. That's the difference. Is that they are what they are, and if you want to improve them, that it's somewhat that's doable. But like I said in our show the other week, there's a lot of uncertainty with the club because no one thought we'd get relegated last year. No one thinks we'll get relegated again this year. We all think we're probably going to go on to win the league, but it's just one of those things. I think it's the most uncertain I've ever been as a Leicester fan about what we'll do next year. I couldn't tell you what we could do.
I think everyone's scared to say what they believe we're going to get out this season because everyone says, right. I mean, I said last season we're going to struggle, but some people said we're going to be fine. Some people said we're going to get promoted, but everyone was sort of, no one ever thought we'll be relegated,
Mm.
and no one's to say, oh, we're going to be fine this league because we thought that last season, but it's all in the unknown, and that's what we we've come to just being used to is the unknown. We don't know what's happening. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's going to be our owners. We don't know.
Yeah,
We don't even know our starting 11.
yeah,
So it's all up in the air. And the only thing we have to grip onto is Russell Martin. He's the only one that seems to be like giving us some hope that we can have a good season. Because when he came in, I was like, oh, I don't like Russell Martin ball. It's all passy from the back. It's all build up play. He's been our only shining light really this pre-season. We've played some really good football. We just lost to a really good team, so from that aspect, I think that's the only good thing.
yeah. I mean, like you said, I think we were lucky to get Martin in the sense of I think he is probably better than a League One manager. He probably is more of a top eight Championship manager. So he's obviously been brought in to build on the prospects, and it's one of those things where we should get promoted. Really, you look at the team and you look at the players we have brought in, and we
Yeah,
should get promoted. And we all would have said the last thing last year. We should get promoted with this team. I think that uncertainty just does just loom overhead, and I don't know what we'll do as a club. I still think we should win the league. I do think we should be the best team in League One. When you look
I
at the other
agree.
teams that are in there, there's no reason why we shouldn't go and absolutely get 100 points. But it's we set some people said that last year, and it's just one of those things where I'm just going into the season with a bit of uncertainty. After 10 games, hopefully that's gone, and we are just playing some nice football and winning.
Do you think? I lost my train of thought there. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. God, I've gone blank. I'll go through a few comments until it comes back to me. Mike Ashley got 200 million, maybe tempted to try to buy Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, Newcastle didn't have the debt that we had, and they were a Premier League club when they sold. We're League One, so there's a bit of a difference in that. Um, Owner and Rookie need to move on and go and get a different direction with fresh faces.
Yeah, I don't think Rudkin goes so long as Top's here. I think I don't know why Rudkin's still here. I
No,
think he probably should have lost his job by now, but clearly Top likes him too much on a personal level. So he probably won't ever remove him from the club. But I think Top has listened to the fans somewhat and gone, you know what, maybe it is better if I just sell because I think we have to also remember it's not really Top's club. You know, he was the son of the owner, who obviously
yeah.
Vichai unfortunately passed away. So it's not something that maybe he necessarily wanted to do. It's kind of just fell into his lap. So I think King Power has probably took us as far as they will take us. I think back to back relegations, you do have to start looking internally at the issues.
There's a lot of internal issues, and from all previous seasons, like last 3 or 4 seasons, it looks like that the club have just put just enough in to show that they're relevant, but not putting too much money in, so if they lose it, it's not a big problem. It just seems like at the moment they're trying to make the club look as attractive as possible. Like really nice kit launch, nice shiny players come through the door. Um, it just like selling all these assets. Oh, look how much Leicester City's earning from transfers this year. But it just seems like they're just trying to, decorate. Like it's like we could take it, go into a house, a viewing house, and like it make it look really pretty. But behind closed doors, like you never know how many problems are underneath the surface.
Yeah.
I just hope that the club doesn't sell to anyone who just puts the offer in. I hope they actually but sell it to someone who actually wants to not invest, not just to buy the stadium and sell all the assets off, like sell Seagrave to a rival fan or a hotel complex, or sell the land around the King Power. I hope they actually go right. Let's fix this club. Let's compete back. Let's get back into the Premier League in 5 years' time. That's what we need. But do I trust Top to sell the club to the right person? No. I mean, Dorku says, not Dorku, Dalkowski says, where's this comment? If King Power abandons Leicester City, we are. I don't agree with that comment because I think King Power are the ones to put us in this mess in the first place. But however, we can all say, "Oh, we want King Power out," which I personally do. But the risk is, who do we get in? That
Yeah.
that no one knows. No one knows who we're going to get. And
No,
that's the
yeah, I
danger
mean,
thing.
King Power has been the best owners for Leicester. You know, there's no denying that. They've given us more than we could have ever asked for as fans. But there is always a time and place for things to move on. I think Top would do it in the right way. I don't think he would just sell to the first person that comes knocking. I think he would do his due diligence a little bit and actually see who is buying the club. Um, at least that's what I think. I think he's nice enough to not just go, yeah, here's the first buy, have it, there you go. I think he will. At least I think he will. At least do a little bit of due diligence. And again, that's one of the things only time will tell. Many clubs, I mean, like Wednesday now, they've got bad owner. It's just it happens to teams when stuff goes wrong. But yeah, I don't really know how else to describe what King Power could do at this moment in time. I think they do I think they need to give a little bit of fan service by selling it to the right person and not just the first buyer.
I think, yeah, I think Top has that emotional connection to the club where he doesn't want to just let his father's reputation be complete. Like I know it's already in shatters a little bit because of where we are now, but he wouldn't want his legacy to be given away to someone just to completely like change completely. We need someone just to try and stop the bleeding, steady the ship, and then try and get us back up to the top. Well, before we end the show, we we started the season technically against Northampton last week with a narrow 1-0 win. We looked a bit sketchy. We looked a bit, wasn't the easiest watch. We did play a lot of youth players, but we got a really hard introduction to the season against Notts County at their ground. Technically, it's a local derby because it's a city
Yeah,
next to us. But
yeah.
what do you expect going into that game? Do you think Notts County will sit back and just be a low block and then us try and break it down to try and score on the counter, or do you think they'll go right? This is it's our chance just to go at Leicester.
I think whenever we play away this season, I don't think any of the home teams should just sit back against us, because I think that that their fans will start to get on their back when they're just letting us consistently attack them. So I think they'll probably be a bit more back and forth rather than just us consistently trying to break it into their box. I said I did a video earlier, and I said that I think a 2-0 win would be a comfortable result for us, because it keeps a clean sheet. You get 2 comfortable goals, and if you can outplay them at the same time as well, then you should look comfortable. Because I think Notts County are fairly middle of the road team in League One. They're nothing amazing, but we do need to set a decent bar for ourselves, because we need to like I say, get some points this season. It's going to be a long season, so we need to not really drop points.
No, and then I just don't want to see any sloppy mistakes. Like, I don't want to see goalkeeper, like, we've got so many schoolboy errors. What I hope it has changed the mentality, especially like the Southampton game. We're 3-0 up, we're cruising. All of a sudden, second half came along, we played defensive, and we just completely collapsed, and then it just got so toxic from there. So one thing us as fans can do is actually be positive. Even though I don't like how the club is being run, that doesn't mean we should all go into the stadium and just like immediately be toxic. Because if we are toxic, that will make it worse. So we've got to be positive. We've got to think, look, we've seen positivity. We've seen good things from the training ground. We've seen good things from the preseason games. We've been very, even though we've not made any marquee big signings in terms of like money spent, we have made a lot of good signings. So I'm being optimistic. I think we'll play well against County, and I think we'll win. I just don't want to see any nervousness. I want us to be confident. I want us not to be like just trying to make silly short passes around the back, because that'll just make me nervous again.
Yeah, I mean that is what we're probably going to do, though. I'm afraid I've been open about it. I'm not a massive fan of possession-based football, but if it works, it works. That's the main thing at the end of the day. I don't think we'll be. Sorry, I don't think we'll be too toxic. I think it can turn very quickly if 10 games in and we're mid-table and not looking great. I think then stuff might change. But I think to begin with, the people that are going to the away game on Saturday, they should be buzzing for it. Like I say, it's a pretty decent sized game for us, only down the road. And if you like I say, it should be a good way to get 3 points on the board.
Hopefully. What would you be? You said 2-0, didn't you, for your score
Yeah.
prediction? I think we'll let in a sloppy goal. I think we'll win 3-1, and I think it'll be a good performance. I think we'll start. I think it'd be good to see Russell Martin starting a lineup. It'll be good to see who he believes will be the first, like the team taking forwards. Obviously, things will change in the transfer window. Harry Suter will probably go. Wafaz might probably go. Hopefully, get another striker and defendering. But we can see the core of what the team he wants to play. But overall, thanks for everyone for watching. Thanks for everyone leaving your comments in. There's been a bit of an argument going on between some fans about the ownership, which is quite funny to watch. But thanks for everyone leaving your comments. Thank you for leaving a like. Don't forget to follow us on our socials down below. Tomorrow night we've got Taylor with the -1 show, talking about the more in depth about the teams, about a Notts County game. They've got Jamie's show on Sunday, talking about the results and what's happened. Then we've got a Phil show on Monday. Everyone getting your views in, getting people on. Well, thanks, Sam, for pitching in for me. It's been really helpful.
Cheers, no worries. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all soon.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms.
Want to watch more content like this? Hit the like button. Give us your views. Hit subscribe to Leicester Fan TV and make sure to follow us on all socials.